Welcome to the Emergent Human, where we explore optimizing health, embodied spirituality, and post-conventional living. I'm Michael Ostrolenk, your host. Quick shout out to my friend Will Brink and his new coffee booster called Alpha Joe. It has creatine for its neuroprotective properties as well as cocoa. I'm enjoying it and have been experimenting with it for a few weeks. It's part of my morning ritual with my Misha's coffee. You can check it out by Google searching Alpha Joe coffee. And play around with it and try it out to see if you like it. Today, I'm speaking with Vicki Starr. Vicki, for the most of her life, she found her self-worth in service, activity, and accomplishments. And now she's devoted to living from her truest identity, the sound of her own soul. From CrossFit to 6 Ironman races, Boston Marathon to an Ultramarathon, she stayed on the move. At the time, it was thrilling and fulfilling, but deep down, she could sense something was missing. She was looking for external achievement to fill an expansive void she was afraid might engulf her. Today, we're going to discuss with her path to discover her true self, as well as her work with women working to explore the same, including an upcoming retreat in Costa Rica, where she'll be working with women through yoga, breathwork, time in nature, intra and interpersonal work. Today's show is brought to you by Casper Scafidi, an amazing body worker in the Northern Virginia area who has integrated different somatic practices, including Rolfing in his work. You can learn more about Casper at www.casperscafidi.com. And now to our guest, Vicki. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been watching you from a distance. You get a lot of great Instagram posts, and obviously we're friends on Facebook. And your path is fascinating. The work you're doing is great, and you want to eventually get to the retreats and the work, individual work you do, and the group work you do. But kind of enlighten us about your path. Like, how did you go from what you're doing, which sounded pretty adventuresome and amazing, to the path now, which is still adventuresome and amazing?
Oh my gosh, Michael, I think it really, I was born in Florida, so, and raised in North Idaho. So my soul has always been drawn to the ocean. Like, I knew it deep down in my core. So growing up, I've always wanted to live at the ocean, by the beach, just experience the beauty. So, being in North Idaho is where I met Mark, my husband, and it just really wasn't my calling. It wasn't where I wanted to be. So fast forward a little bit, my dad passed away 2 years ago of COPD and emphysema. And it really, being an only daughter, being an only child, like, he was the light of my life. And it really hit me hard. And that's when Mark and I decided to do, actually, I convinced him to do the Ultramarathon in Colorado and Trans Rockies. It's a 6-day, 122-mile ultramarathon and above 10,000 feet, and it was spectacular. But they say that ultramarathon runners are always seeking to find something else. Like, they're diving deep into the forest to find that void that they're missing. And I truly was. I mean, there were days where I was sobbing, and there were days where it was like on cloud 9. And I realized that it was just because I hadn't dealt with the death of my dad and what he went through, and honoring the fact that I want to have zero regrets when I get to the end of life. None. I don't want to just sit in the rocking chair and wait for time to come. I want to slide into the grade sideways going, holy shit, what a flippin' ride, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was from that, Michael, that we really just tapped into wanting to be at the ocean, wanting to be at the jungle in a simpler, peaceful way of life. And that's how we got to Costa Rica.
But there's also a little bit earlier part of your story, because you're also a mother. And if you wouldn't mind just kind of talking about, like, you mentioned empty nest syndrome, and that kind of, there's also a hole there you want to fill, but you obviously filled it differently than most people might do so. So you could kind of address that as well, kind of the family dynamics, and besides the race in Colorado, were there moments that your father's death led you to self-exploration, that led you on this path, that led you finally to Costa Rica? Like, were there moments where it was like a one-time event, or like, how did that unfold to you? So 2 big questions there.
Two big questions.
Your daughter,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, 2 big questions. So I have one daughter, she's 25. She actually lives in Virginia, right by you. Yeah, in Virginia Beach. She's amazing.
Nice.
And 6, 7 years ago, at 18, she left the house to go to college. And like I was the parent, like, go fly the coop, go explore life, go and have your own journey, because it's your life. It's not my life. I'm not telling you what to do. I just want you to be happy and your way be successful. I mean, whether it's financially, whatever that may be for you. So supporting her every step of the way, I just realized that, oh my gosh, like my best friend's gone. You know, we did so much together, and trying to understand that balance of, okay, so now Mark's getting ready to retire in like 4 years. How do I connect with him? How do I connect with myself? Who am I? And what do I want to be when I grow up? Because now that I've raised my daughter for 18 years, like I have all this space and time in my head for me.
Yeah.
And so what's my soul calling me to do? You know, so I dabbled in, did the SEALFIT, the 20X, and challenge myself that way, challenge myself in Ironmans, challenge myself in the marathons and stuff. But you asked what drew me to Costa Rica? What was that void? Why the inner draw of, it wasn't only my dad just passing away, but there were moments. I had an Ironman race, Michael, where I was up in Canada. We were in the middle of the bike, probably 20 miles into the bike ride. And I looked down at myself on my bike. I was literally looking down at myself going, oh my God, you're doing amazing. This is so cool. And I reflect back on that and I'm like, gosh, what was that all about? I've had several runs in nature just by myself where I've encountered spirituality where it's just engulfed me and made me stop hardcore in my tracks, to sit there and absorb the energy of the nature that's around me and to just fill me up and like make my skin tingle, right? I mean, we get goosebumps from certain experiences, right? So like there were those moments that, another one, so Mark and I moved to California and we bought a boat. We lived on a boat for almost 5 years. And there were times taking the boat out into the ocean and sitting on the bow of the boat, and it's cruising, and all of a sudden I'm dangling my feet over the edge and there's hundreds of dolphins surrounding me, like pods of dolphins. And like, I'm mesmerized, and I can hear them, Michael, just like squeaking and talking and frolicking and playing. And I'm like, this is so alive. Like I can feel this within me. And that's how I want my days to be. That's how I'm going to get to the end of life and go, there's zero regrets.
So what I'm hearing you say then is like you had at one point used physical experiences like the triathlon, the 20X. It led to some spiritual experiences and spiritual openings, but that your deeper connection is not necessarily doing those kind of things to open you up, but being in nature opens you up. And that's the kind of flow state you like to be in, whether it's the dolphins in the ocean or in the jungle where you live in Costa Rica, or beaches when you live in Florida. Okay.
Exactly. Yep. That, because I feel like looking back, like all those accomplishments, they were really, I mean, they were amazing. I earned them. I did all the work to get there, but I just felt like it was a patch. Okay. What's next? A patch. What's next? Completed. What's next? Check off the box. Like, where was that enlightenment to where my skin's tingling and like I'm on fire?
Yeah. What might you say, besides the time in nature, or other practices that you've done that have served you to get your skin on fire, to get you deeply connected to your soul, things along those lines? Do you have like daily spiritual practices and disciplines that you do?
I do. I journal in the morning, and my mornings change back and forth because I thrive in the masculine, but I also thrive in the feminine. And just recently I found the balance. So doing CrossFit, doing the hardcore, like, okay, Mark, I'm going to get more push-ups than you. That's never going to happen. But my mentality goes there, right? Like I challenge myself, and that's the masculine. So some mornings they're encompassed by doing, a workout in the patio. Some mornings it's going to yoga, where I have this fabulous yoga shala that I go to that is right on the ocean, have the ocean breeze, and just connect with nature and the beauty that surrounds me. So like each morning is different. And I really try to listen to my intuition. I get up, wake up, lay in bed, and listen to my soul. And okay, what does it need today? It needs coffee. Like every day it needs coffee.
Does Andrea send you Misha's coffee? So you have some good stuff down there. We have to talk to her about that.
No, I have to tell you, we have some pretty amazing Costa Rican blend coffee down here.
Actually, I know. I'm sure that's where all of the stuff comes from over here.
Yeah. So every morning starts with coffee, and then whether it's a, like a pseudo CrossFit workout with the limited equipment we have, whether it's yoga, but I do journal. And then once or twice a week, I do breath work. I've really found such inner peace and such healing from my own trauma, generational trauma that has been stored, that through breath work and 30 minutes of breath work, that I find such peace and such serenity, and honestly, the power and the healing transformation that breath work gives me.
Can you speak to that? Because for breathwork has different connotations for different people, like pranayama and holotropic breathwork, Wim Hof, and a million other kind of breathwork practices. Mm-hmm. What are the ones that you've done, that you do, and that you might, and you do with clients, and you recommend for very particular states that you want to induce? I heard you say like intergenerational trauma. I would imagine that requires a different kind of breathwork practice than another state you might want to induce, or something you might want to explore.
Absolutely. Well, we have the box breath. I love box breathing, like right before bed. I mean, I can turn on the little timer and Mark's out like that, and so am I. So breath work just to calm. Like even the fire breathing, where it's rapidly in and out of the nose, like that really stimulates, good for before a workout. The breath work that's healed me, that has given me such inner peace, is a 3-part breath work. And it's open mouth and through the belly, the chest, and out through the mouth. And it's highly oxygenating to the cells, to where it's been scaled to where instead of you have like 5,000 hours of talk therapy, you have breath work that is equivalent to the talk therapy. So with the two modalities together, Michael, this breath work, the 3-part breath work, has just, it's released a lot, and it just gives me such power and such inner peace, knowing and realizing that what's stuck, and it's usually stuck in the hips, right? What's stuck is maybe not necessarily mine, but I have the power to rewire the brain, and I have the power to, through my breath, through my own power, to release what is stuck within the body. And as you get so excited by that, so do I. I mean, that freaking makes me come alive and understand that we don't need drugs. We don't need psychedelics. Like, this is our own power to heal ourselves.
Wow. And it actually is very amazing, because not only historically in terms of like ancient wisdom, pranayama from the yogis and stuff, or even more recently, holotropic breath work from the LSD research Stan Groff, that you can use breath to access these non-ordinary states and do a lot of healing. For you, when you go through these experiences, because I just heard you say, even some of the stuff is not mine, but it's trapped in my body energetically. Like, how do you know like what's yours, what's not yours? Because I would imagine, because you also mentioned kind of intergenerational stuff, and I imagine that through your experiences, there's stuff like, oh wait, this comes from my mother's line, or my mother's mother's father's son's brother's cousin, somewhere back in intergenerationally. but it's through me. It's not me. It's through me. It's stuck in me. Like, so how do you, when you do this kind of work, how do you make distinctions between, oh, that's my shit, that's some other person's shit that's stuck inside my physical body energetically?
I think truly just knowing my own life's experiences and what I have used to growing up to make a safety net around my heart and around my space, that knowing that I come from a people pleaser as a child. Like, I really wanted to make other people happy before myself. And I know that that's mine, that I have to heal that I need to understand that I'm not in charge of anybody else's happiness. So knowing that, like, what have I done throughout my life to put the protective shells around my heart and around myself to keep me alive and to keep me functioning through those times of my own trauma, versus like, there's times like, I'm not joking. Like, we're driving down the road and I'm freaking out because here comes a car and I swear we're going to die because of a car crash. And I think that's generational. Like, that hasn't happened to me, but why do I feel that? Why am I getting so like, and you notice it because it becomes in your chest. The breathing becomes so in your chest rather than relaxed and fluid and flow. So understanding, like, in my 51 years, what have I done in my life that has or hasn't given me trauma, to know what's mine and what's generational. But understanding that like I can service myself and I can take care of that and move through that. And if I can't, and if I notice that I'm stuck, like, I have people that I can reach out to that will help me and guide me and go, hey, knock, knock, that's not yours. Let's process it. Let's cut the cord and let's move forward.
Does body work play a role in your own personal growth and development, as well as your work with other people?
Body work as far as
hands-on, either energetic or hands-on, like the visceral, like tissue manipulation, the fascia or muscle, or working on organ systems, or
I'm fascinated by that. I've only done one Reiki session. Energetically, I felt the power of her. I have not gone deep down that hole yet, but like, it's something that's out there that I find that, I mean, it's ancient. It's been around for so long. Like, how it can't be brand new and woo-woo. Like, it's been old and ancient and tried and tested through traditions. And so there's something to it. Like, in being here in Costa Rica, that there's so many modalities. I recently did through a llama, I did a day's quiet retreat in the jungle by the river. It was freaking amazing. I look back and I'm like, I could have done that for a couple more days. Like, he talked, we sat by the river, he led us through guided meditation. We said nothing for 12 hours, even through lunch. We did, it was fascinating. And so I know that there's so many things that are in my future that I'm going to experience, because I find it so enlightening.
That's awesome. So one thing I'm hearing you say is, like, you're on a path, but you're not at the end of the path. I think it's continually unfolding as you continue to explore new parts of yourself, and I would imagine interpersonally too.
Yes.
And how has that shown up for you, like with Mark as an example, or friends or family, in terms of, like, you're having these openings? How do they show up in your relationships?
I think Mark, this is such a good question. That's probably a question actually to ask him. But I think, if from my standpoint, I see our relationship opening up a lot more because I'm more vulnerable. I'm allowing myself and my shells to open and crack and fall away, to where I don't have to make sure that he's happy with what I say. That's his job. So it's made, just an example, it's made our relationship and our communication a lot more open and a lot more broad. And when I'm feeling like crap, like I'm feeling like crap. Like, I don't know what's happening. Last night we went to some friends. It didn't feel right. The energy was not good. Like, that's not where I want to be. So it's just, I think with our relationship together, brought me more awareness to what my intuition is telling me and saying, okay, so do you feel this? Yes or no? Okay, this is what I'm feeling. Let's not, let's avoid that. And I like this question too, Michael, because my daughter is getting her master's in family and marriage counseling. So
oh, cool.
It's very cool. And it's understanding too that we all have different modalities of healing that works for us, working through the molasses and trying to get through the junk stuff to get out of our own way, right? And so to see her going down this path also, and hoping that she sees more of the holistic side of it, that can be incorporated into the talk therapy. I mean, I don't believe one or the other. I think the incorporation, like the body work, like, I've done EMDR too. I mean, that's very fascinating too, to rewire the brain. So there's so many modalities that we can integrate them together to heal. And because our journeys are not linear, like we're ups and downs, right? And it's learning to be aware of ourselves and what we're feeling.
Well, very cool to hear about your daughter, because I happen to be trained and licensed as an marriage and family therapist.
I love it.
Good profession. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in November, you have a retreat coming up. Talk to me about how you've taken like your own personal growth and development as your own personal path, and then turned it into, wow, I really want to help other people, in this case, women, one-on-one or your Kissy retreat as a group, really unfold, discover their authenticity, et cetera, et cetera. So walk me through like how that went from this is my personal path to now this is my public path of sorts, or professional path maybe.
I have to tell you, it was on a Joe Dispenza meditation, Michael. I was
Cool.
sitting on the patio here, and it was like one of the first times I did Joe Dispenza meditation. I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm like, this is vastly different than what I'm used to. I'm not sure about this. Like, okay, so just sit through it, just lean into the uncomfort and allow yourself to experience it. And so within that one meditation with him, I had this huge download of like, frick, if I can feel this good, why? My purpose here is to help other women feel this good. Like, I've gone through the shit. I know the struggle, and I know how to use different modalities to weave my way in and out of it, and to understand that there's so much growth and so much to experience in life that I want to share with other women. So being here in Costa Rica, like it's I can't explain to you how many different colors of green there are. Like, it's so tropical, it's so lush, and there's so much energy and vibrancy in the jungle that it's the perfect place to tap into healing and inner work.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are the dates in November for this upcoming retreat?
So the upcoming retreat is November 11th, 11/11 through the 16th. It's 6 days, 5 nights. It's at Encantada Ocean Cottages, a cute little boutique hotel right on the ocean. It's, I think on a busy day, Michael, there may be a cow on the beach and 3 other people. So it's there's so much solitude. So what I wanted to do is give women an opportunity to, as empty nesters, as mamas, like I said, we're constantly servicing others, servicing for others, and giving our time and our energy for others. I wanted to give them an opportunity to come down here and to unwind, to tap into solitude and slow down.
Nice.
It's the way of life here in Costa Rica, they call it Pura Vida, and it's the simple life. And so that's what I wanted to tap into. And to just immerse the women into the jungle and the sacred gifts of hiking back to waterfalls and sitting and listening, like just listening. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to do anything. I just listen and just be.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is it mostly women from America, Canada, and then Costa Rica and the surrounding countries, or where do you draw most of your participants from?
Right now, my draw is mainly from Southern California.
Okay.
I have a lot of women coming. I have 5 women coming from Southern California, and I have a lady and her friend coming from Colorado. So it's from the States mainly. And I'm just thinking, none of the women have ever been to Costa Rica. So one of them, their desire is always been to go to Costa Rica. She's actually my naturopathic physician. She's like, I trust you. You're in Costa Rica. I'm coming. I'm like, okay, perfect. Yes.
Nice.
So I have so many amazing, beautiful gifts that we'll be sharing on this 6 days together. Because I'm honoring women and I want to honor the local women also. I have a lady that is going to lead us in a paint and sip night, because community is super important. Women don't tend to have that community as much as men do, because we're constantly taking the kids here, doing service for others. So to tap into the community of other women, like-minded women, and just sit and be playful with paint and draw paint. I can't paint, but there is a lady that's going to guide us. She's an amazing artist. I also have another local lady that she is a conservationist here. She's a licensed guide in Costa Rica. It has been her soul's desire to be a licensed conservationist here in Costa Rica and to take people on guided walks since she was a little tiny girl. So I have her taking us on a night guided beach walk. Hopefully it's Tortuga hatching season. So hopefully we'll see some baby turtles being hatched.
Very cool.
Yeah, super great. There's, I also have a lady coming in to do the Vita Blue clay. So through the jungle and the rainforest and the waterfalls, they take the clay and it's detoxifying, healing properties, and we paint our bodies and then we go frolic in the ocean.
Nice. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So it's slowing down, but also realizing through the different yoga practices that we'll be doing, yin yoga, we'll be doing breath work, we'll be doing journaling, and tapping into what lights their soul on fire. Like I said, what gets them to get up in the morning now that the kids are gone? What have they always wanted to be when they grew up? So it's an opportunity to sit and listen to that quiet little whisper in our heads that's always telling us, hey, let's do this.
So what if a woman's listening to this and she's like, oh man, it sounds wonderful. I can't make it November of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So two questions. Do you offer other retreats, and or how do you work one-on-one with folks?
Question for the retreat. I'll be holding another retreat next, probably February, March.
Okay, good.
2022. I had to think what year it is.
Yeah.
I don't even know what day of the week it is, Michael. And then your next question, how do they work with me one-on-one? I have a website, Hot for Holistics. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. You can connect with me, private message, any of those ways, email me, and certainly sit with the ladies or sit with the men and do guided breath work. And just happen to just like, this life is so beautiful, and there's so much energy and there's so much that surrounds us that we should just honor that and grow with it.
That's awesome. So let me encourage men who are listening to send their wives, daughters, girlfriends, friends to your retreat in November, or you said, I think February of the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they can't do that, hopefully you continue to do more throughout the years.
Absolutely.
And then you also said that if individuals, that you work with individuals, so they can also reach to you on your website. Can you give your URL one more time?
Yes, it's hotforholistics.com.
Easy to remember.
Easy to remember. Yep. And then you can also find me on Instagram, Vicki Starr, 2 R's.
Cool. Thank you, Vicki. It's been
Thank
great to
you,
talk
Michael.
to you.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.